What I want to go over today is not necessarily right to repair or even a left versus right political issue. I want to go over the fundamental idea that in the state of Colorado, it does not seem like you actually have a say over what happens in your own government. When I talked about what happened with them ruining a right to repair bill that spent over 3 years to get passed in this video, I'm talking about every single person who showed up who thought that this bill was a good idea was somebody who came from Cisco or IBM or one of their trade associations and was a paid lobbyist. And everybody who showed up who said this exemption is a really bad thing, let's not do this, was a normal everyday person, somebody who just had a job fixing things, or members of the community. So what happened after everybody who was a member of the community showed up and said, I think this is a bad idea, but everybody who showed up from Cisco and IBM said, I think this is a good idea? This.
Ms. Jensen, will you please poll the committee members?
Senators Catlin.
Aye.
Liston.
Aye.
Snyder.
Aye.
Marchman.
Aye.
Henriksen.
Aye. That passes on a vote of 5-0.
So let's get this straight. Every single person who showed up to say, I don't want this, was somebody who was paid by Cisco, IBM, or one of their trade associations. And every single person who showed up to say, I don't want this to pass, was an ordinary everyday citizen. And we're not talking about 3-2 or 4-1. We're talking about 5-0. What this tells me is that you, as a Colorado citizen, have absolutely no say over what happens in your own government. And that's the reason that I'm asking as many people as possible to contact their state senator and tell them as follows. Dear state senator, I am your constituent in XYZ district. I noticed the way you voted on SB 26-090. I'll pin the comment with this in case you want to just have something to copy and paste. Everybody who showed up in favor of this was a paid lobbyist for Cisco, IBM, or one of their trade groups. Everybody who showed up who was against this was an everyday citizen. The message that it sends me, that you've decided to pass this after 3 years of deliberation on this right to repair bill to get it to where it was, is that you don't care about the words of everyday citizens. Just so you know, if you decide to pass this in the Colorado State Senate, I will be voting for your primary challenger or your direct opposition, regardless of who they are. That's it for today. Thank you very much. Have a nice day. Something like that. That's the only way that these politicians are going to get it through their head. Now, you may think, I don't give a fuck about right to repair. Lewis is trying to get me to care about right to repair. But this is about so much more than right to repair. When Denver's mayor wanted to install flock surveillance, even though the city council and the people didn't want it, he found a way to get around it by making the contract $1,500 less than what would require city council approval, which goes against the city charter. And he never got in trouble for it. They're trying to push age verification where the operating system is asking for what your age is. You know why they're doing that everywhere. And this is something that's been sponsored by the Colorado State Senate. If you get railroaded here by Cisco and IBM on something that has just virtually 100% public approval, where no ordinary citizen reads this and thinks this is a bad idea, what do you think is going to happen here? You're setting a precedent to where you don't have any control over your own government. And it's only going to get worse at every single other level of government if it gets destroyed here. As I said in my testimony that I gave in that video, I'm not even a repair company anymore. We're a data recovery company. I've moved on. I've accepted the fact that many of the bills that exist have many loopholes in them. And I've accepted the fact, similar to Andy at Salems Experts and many others, that if I want to actually pay people a wage that I'm proud of, if I want the employees that show up to my store to actually be able to afford to buy a house or a car in the same neighborhood that I do or from the same dealership, that I'm going to have to do something else because what I was doing before is just fundamentally not viable. I am not a repair company anymore. I'm a data recovery company. I don't even have a dog in this fight the same way. But from a philosophical point of view, I still fully believe in right to repair. And Andy at Salems Experts sent me a message recently about this that I wanted to read to all of you because it really struck me. They need to make sure that they set such a precedent that the ashes can never be picked up and reassembled somewhere else. I've accepted that logical right to repair laws will never be passed and have been blackpilled for a while, but it's only natural to get fired up over the blatant corruption involved. It's fucking infuriating seeing the same shit happen over and over again, but what the fuck do we do? Point out the corruption when it occurs, knowing damn well there's not a fucking thing that will result from it? It's exhausting, dude. And the first part is what got me. They need to make sure that they set a precedent that the ashes can never be picked up and reassembled somewhere else. Yes, many of these bills have giant exemptions. A PlayStation 6 is almost $1,000 now, and the Minnesota Right to Repair bill excludes game consoles. And this bill is going to exclude anything that you can say is intended for use in critical infrastructure, but the manufacturer gets to say if it's critical infrastructure. So like if fucking Kash Patel uses a Framework laptop, I'm not saying Narav would do this, but Narav could say we're not selling batteries to the Framework laptop anymore. The thing that bothered me so much is that you got so many exemptions as it was, but all the exemptions that you have, all the carve-outs, all the safety and security and trade secret crap and all these bills that have passed around the country, all that you only get access to what our authorized repair centers get access to, and we don't give authorized repair centers access to shit. All of that was not good enough. You had to get another carve out just to fucking curb stomp the people that actually fought for this and make sure they know that their opinion, that their say does not matter. How fucking dare you think you have a say in what goes on in your local government? And what I'm asking all of you to do if you live in the state of Colorado is send your state senator a message and let them know that's not the way it is. We're watching. I see exactly how this bill passed. I wrote everything here. One of you asked a question. It was something, I can't find the comment now, but it was something like, have you written an article that goes over how this got passed? And I did. I wrote a giant article going over exactly where the money flowed, how it flowed, who was in favor of this garbage exemption, and how much they spent on it, and the way that they also were able to make it look like the bill had way more support than it did by listing all their clients twice or three times. All of that is over here. So if you want to write something more detailed in a canned response, you got all this over here. And that's about it for today. As always, I hope you learned something. Let people know in your state government. Let them know that they're just not going to get away with them ignoring you. Because, again, if you let it slide here, it's just going to get worse everywhere else. That's it for today. And as always, I hope you learned something. I'll see you in the next video. Bye now.